Alright. Hey, how's it going? I'm Coach Biggs here. And
I'm Robin. How's it going, guys?
Today we're talking about committing to a diet or being able to sustain a diet. We're talking about the biggest losers of the show and how they would lose a substantial amount of weight and how it's not sustainable because of lack of education and in a controlled environment. And this was like Robin's thunder, so I'll go ahead and let her say everything.
Yes, I used to love watching that show, and I think it's cool to watch because I just like watching all their workout routines. But then I started to realize these people, they actually leave their jobs. They take a leave of absence, or they quit their jobs, or they do whatever, and they move to a compound. So they're in a compound with no outside distractions. They have a trainer with them 24/7 pretty much at their disposal, and people that they buy their food for them and they take it to them, or so they don't have any choice but to eat the good food. That's all they get. That's the only choices they have. And then when they, of course, I would lose weight too if Robert and Aaron followed me around 24/7 and were like, hey, put that down, you can't eat that. Of course, that would drop, like, it would fall off. But as soon as Robert and Aaron weren't with me, and I was like, oh, that cookie right here, I'm just gonna eat just this one cookie, and then it turns into the whole bag of cookies, and then it's not sustainable for that fact because it's real life. We have work, we have families, budgets. I mean, it's sad to say the more healthy food is a little more expensive, and when you're shopping for a family of 5, you kind of gotta work your magic to try to get the best quality food for the best price in a controlled environment. I mean, that makes it way easier.
Yeah, I can see your point there, especially for a family of 5, but it's not true. It's kind of disingenuous. I bought recently, and I was gonna make a post of it, but I got lazy about it, but I bought a bag of salad, a garden salad, 2 of them for $3 from Sprouts, and then a rotisserie chicken. I shredded the chicken, and I put that, and I weighed it out, and it was 5 meals. And then the bag of lettuce was 5 meals as well. So that cost me $10. That was the price of one meal deal at McDonald's. And I got the control, and that was from Sprouts. Bear in mind, that was from Sprouts. Now, if you get a chicken that's probably at least 30% bigger from Costco, for I think it's the same price, and a bag. You could get super greens or whatever, but I got regular garden salad because I need more water. I get enough vitamins and stuff like that, but I don't consume enough water. And that type of salad has a lot of water in it, the iceberg lettuce. So it's disingenuous, and that's kind of what you're getting on, is the trainers didn't educate them on how to eat and how to get good quality food.
Absolutely.
Versus like going to McDonald's. And you could look at the same product, so like a hamburger from McDonald's or if I bought one from Sprouts. Completely different, because McDonald's is in the business of making a profit. So they gotta make this delicious food, and also they have to cut costs, the overhead, so they have to be able to compete with Burger King and Wendy's and everybody else out there. So they have to cut the prices. They're gonna buy sub-grade meat, they're gonna buy sub-grade grains for bread and all that just to cut the cost at the top. So there's that, versus you could go to Costco and buy a bunch of 80-20 or 90-10, whatever your thing is, and make your own hamburgers, control the quality of your ingredients, for the same cost that you would have spent there. Now, for a family of 5, it's a different conversation, but it's definitely a lot cheaper to do that than it is to like buy 5 meal deals from McDonald's. That's almost $100 right
Yeah,
there.
no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, Steph does most of the shopping at the stores, and she does a great job. And we do buy, meat from Costco or Sam's Club, the like 93.7, and we do make our own burgers. But that has taken time for us to learn how to do that. You and Aaron taught us how to eat clean or eat good versus hitting the fast food restaurants and stopping at, getting pizza every week or whatever. The Biggest Loser, again, they're just in that controlled environment, and
Yeah,
in all reality, who has the time to work out 4 or 5 hours a day with a personal trainer at that,
for sure. I mean,
directing your every workout? I mean,
yeah, and that's a very extreme version of that. So when you're looking at long-term and sustainable weight loss, you should only be looking at half a pound to like 1 pound of body fat a week. Because like what we were talking about before is usually a lot of people pitch weight loss, which isn't necessarily fat loss. So when they do weight loss, it's going to be water weight, muscle mass, which when you reduce muscle mass, you reduce your metabolism, which means you're not going to be burning as much calories, and then some fat will come in there. So, you know, and then when you reduce the muscle mass, you reduce your metabolism. Then when you go back to where you were, kind of like with the Biggest Losers, then you're going to be you're going to have more fat than you did before because you didn't have the muscle mass, and now you're weaker, your metabolism's slower. And I believe there's a couple lawsuits about that were pending at least a couple of years ago because people developed metabolic syndrome because of that, and they didn't give them any type of material or education. And there's gyms out there that do the same thing, and they sell these 6-week programs, you know, like, oh, you're gonna be slim and fit in 6 weeks. Never happens, you know, and they don't follow that program. It's not sustainable,
right.
because it's whitefish and asparagus or some bullshit like that, and nobody eats that stuff. They just endure it, so they think they're gonna have this belief that they're gonna have this weight and it's gonna be gone forever. But these people are selling this weight loss product, and they're hoping that you fail. You know, so you're gonna go and you're gonna lose all this weight, and then you're gonna go and go back to where you were and gain all that weight back, and then I lost all this weight doing this program, I'm gonna go back and do it. And then it's just this vicious cycle, and then you just keep paying them. You know, and that's where you need to hire like a good trainer, a good coach that tells you, hey, these are the macros, this is how it works, this is what you need to do, and you break it all down that way. If they're just giving you a diet, that means they're selling you something. Hey, I got this diet, it worked great for me. Sure, you know, and I say it all the time, I love sardines, and it works really great for me, but nobody else in the world that I know likes sardines, so, and that's totally cool.
You're on your own there, Robert.
There's so many ways to get there, but so you could just have like chicken breast and achieve the same thing, or you could have chicken breast and some fish oil pills. You know, they get those EPAs in and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Those people on The Biggest Loser that say leave, they, you know, like you said, that diet. Once you deviate from that diet, you're no longer doing yourself any good, and you end up not only gaining that weight back, but you gain, usually, in my experience, just from the whole diet thing, you gain way more than what you actually lost. And then you get in that vicious cycle like you were talking about, and then for me, it puts you in this state of, oh, forget it, I'm never gonna be able to, like, sure, I don't know, I get in my own head, you know, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, they tell me to do this, and then I just keep gaining it all back, and I get frustrated, and then you want to give up and just be like, fuck it.
Right, absolutely, and it starts with people selling them misinformation, saying that I could fix you in 6 weeks, and that's disingenuous at best. It takes a lot longer as you experience. Here we are, like in a year, and you lost 30-some pounds now, you know, but it takes a long time, but we're doing it the right way, because we're building muscle mass up, we're fixing your endocrine system with good nutrition, and then that's going to make your metabolism skyrocket. One of the issues that I have with clients, and I see people, is they'll listen to what I say, but they won't apply it. You know, so it's I ate healthy at so even at McDonald's, I ate healthy at McDonald's. I had a salad, or I had a chicken sandwich, or an egg McMuffin was the recent one. So it's McDonald's. You got to remember that a restaurant's in a business to make a profit, and I don't fault nobody for that. That's what they're there for. Right. And it's delicious food, and it's supposed to be as a treat, not as a staple. So like we're talking about, it's lower quality food. You know, those eggs are not that good. I mean, because they have tons of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, because all the chickens that they eat the eggs are, they're stacked in this warehouse, and they're stacked on top of each other. Versus like, if I go and get some free range eggs, they don't have cortisol in them, and then they're eating, sex, and they have all the right nutrients that I need, and my omegas are skyrocket, and I just increase my nutrition having the same meal. You know, then if you have to have an egg McMuffin, you could pick a better quality bread, you know, versus like everything at a fast food is as cheap as it can be because they got overhead to make, and I don't fault them for that. You know, they're people who are lazy by nature, so they're gonna take the convenient route versus like it takes me this, and it takes me the same amount of time to make my egg burrito as it does to sit in the drive-thru. It's the same amount of time, especially if I meal prep them first. I have all my eggs to go, and then I have my tortillas and my cheese, and everything's ready to go. I just put it in, microwave, boom.
Right.
Client this morning, instant burrito. So, well, why are you doing the instant burrito? They're in the business of making a profit. That tortilla isn't that great. It's not worth the $1 or $2 when you could go and buy those great eggs. You can put potatoes in there, you can put meat in there, and it's probably going to cost you the same thing and just about the same amount of time. Because it takes me, when I do my videos, it's like 2.5 minutes to make my eggs, and boom, boom. And that's with even cooking the tortillas and stuff. I have to go and talk in it.
Not to mention when you make it yourself, it tastes way better.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, it tastes like 10 times better. Because, I mean, like, the quality of the food. And how you were talking, you know, for me, this past year, I lost like 31 pounds, I think it was, total. But I feel good and I feel better because not only am I eating right, or eating like 100 times better than I was before coming here, I'm getting stronger physically and mentally at the same time. So, like, I feel good because I'm getting stronger, so my confidence has grown, my mindset has grown, everything's got better.
Yeah.
And I'm still, you know, the weight's coming off, the results are coming, and so I'm not so focused on I guess I'm not so focused on the number on the scale as opposed as how I'm feeling and how everything is working, because I know the results are coming. Absolutely. And one thing I've learned this year is to trust the process and just trust, you know, if I'm consistent in eating well and my training, then the results are gonna come. And, you know, I didn't get this way overnight, so I can't expect to
Absolutely.
change my entire life overnight. I mean, it's baby steps. You have to, like you said, inches. You have to, you know, take those inch steps. You know, some days you take more than an inch, but those days when it's hard, you take that inch and it still adds up over time. And the results will come if people would be patient. And I think we live in a society where people want that quick fix. I want to be completely healthy and fit and fabulous in that 6 weeks, Robert. I mean, you need to make it happen.
Instant gratification.
And it doesn't happen that way. I mean, sure, in 6 weeks you may have lost some weight, but overall, 6 weeks, I mean.
Yeah, in 6 weeks it's hard for me to teach people what macros mean. You know, like we're talking about, like how important protein is. Protein is what keeps you anabolic. It's what builds muscle mass, and if you reduce your protein and your protein's almost nil, protein is what builds our bones, our skin cells, our hair cells, keeps our heart working, all these muscles in the heart and stuff, and it goes to that first. First the organs and the brain and all that stuff gets the nutrients first. It doesn't give a shit about skeletal muscle. So that's why you have to be in a calorie surplus in order to build skeletal muscle, because everything else has to get taken care of before that part. Your body wants to stay where it is right now. It doesn't want to build muscle mass because it costs a lot of calories to build muscle mass. But that's why you have to be in a calorie surplus. And then after time, you'll build the muscle mass, your metabolism will come up, and then you could go into a calorie deficit just by a little bit. If you do anything more than like 10%, then you go into basically controlled starvation, and that's where your body stops being anabolic and starts being catabolic at a really fast rate, and then it starts breaking down muscle tissue, because muscle tissue costs a lot of calories and it's nutrient rich. So it doesn't want, so it's like if you only have a half a tank of gas but you have a V8, so your body's going to make it into a 4-cylinder car so it can run longer and more efficient, and that's what your body's about. So, and that's kind of like how we go into our phases. Like when I gave you the 12-week reset, it takes time, and then you just do these little phases, and you do a little strict phase, burn the fat extremely, but you don't want to stay catabolic for a long amount of time, because that's when you reach metabolic syndrome, you know, and then it just shuts down your metabolism, and then there's nothing you can do. And usually people resolve that issue by decreasing their calories. I had like Donna, my client this morning, she has 600 calories a day, full grown human.
Holy crap.
Yeah, 600 calories a day. You know, I don't even know how she functions, but she's older, so well, how are you gonna fight off diseases like cancer and stuff like that if you have no nutrition to combat anything, or a cold or anything like that? Because your body's in a constant state of survival, and it's not gonna build muscle mass. And as you get older, and you can see she has a lot of muscle atrophy because she can't walk upright, she can't move that well, her balance is off, and it's because she's on this extreme calorie reduction, and she's from the old school, like, to lose weight, I gotta cut calories. And so, not so much. I mean, and again, you're thinking about losing weight, and then you do lose weight, but it's muscle mass. And then usually like those first couple weeks when you cut calories, you lose muscle mass, you lose water weight, as in like stored water in the muscle, and urine, poop, you know, all that stuff. And those are usually the things that you lose at first. And it's, I lost weight. So, yes, you did, but you didn't lose fat. And that's what we're looking for. You know, I don't care if I was 220 pounds, as long as I was like still around 10% body fat. That's for me 10%. So I think people have the wrong verbiage. You know, it's all you want to lose fat, and fat takes a long time to lose, because the only thing fat is just stored energy.
Right, and I'm glad you explained that, because I think, like you said, people, that's a misunderstanding people have of just losing weight. They don't understand the point of, you want to lose the fat, not just, you don't want to lose just weight, you want to lose fat. Like
Absolutely.
You want to have nutrition. I mean, 600 calories, oh my god, that's like one meal for me, and I'm not, and I don't eat like a crap ton, you know, I have my calories around 2,000 for now, but 600, that's like
nothing. And then imagine this, it was garbage. It was like a bologna sandwich on white bread, you know, which has no nutritional value. So how's your body surviving, man? You know, the first thing that you have is gonna struggle to fight it, like a virus or bacteria or just a cold, man. It's gonna have no calories, no nutrition to fight a cold.
And the thing is that's what people genuinely think, is you have to starve yourself to lose weight, but that's actually the exact opposite. You need to eat to lose weight. You don't want to starve yourself. I mean, not, you know what I mean, eat correctly, but you have to have nutrition, because if you don't have nutrition, like you said, your body goes into that whole starvation survival mode, and that's
absolutely, it shuts down any type of muscle production, shuts down metabolism. So and then also they throw in on top of that like exercise. So then you really put your body into trauma, because it's all, I gotta do 2 a days now to lose all this weight, and it's up. And then what? How are you gonna sustain this weight loss? You know, and this weight loss, you know, so you do lose a lot of weight eventually when these people come out, but they end up being the skinny fat, meaning that they lost fat, but they also lost muscle mass. So you know, you kind of look like Gandhi, right? You know, he's skinny, but he's also fat. He has no muscle tissue, you know.
right.
So it's no big deal. And then there's no performance whatsoever. So you can't lift heavy weights. You can't compete in sports. You know, at least
You probably can't do a whole lot of anything.
Right.
Because I mean, if you don't have, your body needs muscles too. I mean, even just to survive, just to be able to, you know, pick up your baby or your kids or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely, yeah. Energy just to do work, man. You know, like if you're doing construction, or even if you're a cashier at Walmart, you still need calories to move, so you're not lethargic and you lose your cognitive abilities. You know, and there's a lot of nutrition that you're missing when you do calorie reduction. When you don't even have to do a calorie reduction, you just swap, like I said, McDonald's for homemade stuff, you know, and control your ingredients, and that way you'll get a lot more nutrition. You know, and everybody tries to place the blame on something. Oh, it's because it's saturated fat. That's why we're obese. Oh, it's because all the carbohydrates and the sugar, because we're obese. Nah, because you're not eating healthy food. That's it. So you can still eat Oreos. Oreos can still be on the table. but you have to still eat healthy food. So you have to get all your macros in, all your calories in, and then the Oreo should be a treat. It shouldn't be a staple, you know. And that's just something out of the air. So a lot of people like Oreos. So.
No, that's a valid point though that you made, because I think a lot of people think you have to like totally eliminate everything that is not so good for you, and that's not genuinely the case. I mean, you can still have, like, you know, like you say, you can still have your cake and eat it too.
Absolutely.
It's just, you know, one, not every day, like you say, a treat.
Yeah.
It's not like every meal, okay, I'm gonna have my cake, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, you have to like, certainly only once in a while, but I mean, you know, going to a birthday party and having a slice of cake, as long as you, like you said, got all your macros, you're good,
Yeah.
you eat all your good stuff, so you can treat yourself at a party to, you know, a piece of cake
Yeah.
and not feel like,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and then you wouldn't feel guilty about it.
right.
Alright. Well, on that note, we can go ahead and close this down. You got anything to close with?
No, I just think, you know, we just gotta keep getting after it, trusting the process and keep learning. That's my thing, keep learning.
Yeah, pay attention to your nutrition, substitute, the best substitute your cheap food, so like it could be McDonald's or your cheap eggs for better stuff. And eggs are the best bang for your buck. And believe it or not, chickens are not vegetarian, so stay away from the vegetarian eggs. You want the free range ones where they eat bugs and all that stuff out in the field. And you can see the difference. Buy the cheap egg, buy the good egg, crack them open. And for your bang for your dollar, that's the best one to get. That's my advice. Egg is the best protein source on the planet and also has fat in it. So, you know, and you could get, like, we get Happy Eggs and it's like $6 a dozen, but it's worth the money, you know, versus like we pay $10 for number one at McDonald's, but somehow $6 for a dozen of eggs is too expensive, but I could fucking pay like $5 for a Frappuccino, no problem.
Very valid
Priorities.
point, very valid point.
Alright guys, well thank you for your time. See you next. I think that